one thing we have to stop doing as believers, and that is holding on to guarantees that the Heavenly Father never gave to us. Some of you are not ready for this message. You're not. You're still stuck in the teachings of pagan Christianity, or as we call it, the church system. You still have church doctrine in your head that you're clinging on to. If that's you, then stop listening to this message right now, because you're going to get your feelings hurt and you're going to be upset after hearing this message. But if you really want the truth and you really want to be free and you want to move on, then continue listening. We as believers, we have to stop. Really, we have to stop holding on to guarantees that God did not give to us. Think about it. God is Lord. He holds heaven, earth, and everything in it. He holds the whole universe, as it says in the world, the whole universe he holds together with his mind. So he's aware of everything that goes on in existence. He holds existence himself together with his mind. So when God gives you a guarantee, you know for sure that guarantee is really guaranteed of it. But if God did not give you a guarantee, why are you holding on to it? For example, if God told you, as he did to all of humanity, that there comes a point all the dead will rise, there's the resurrection of the dead, then you know the resurrection of the dead will happen. You don't know when it is, because you don't know when Jesus is coming back, but that's not your concern to know. There's a guarantee it's going to happen. But if some preacher tells you that they're going to the graveyard, they're going to resurrect someone, first of all, is he God? Secondly, does he have the access to show the archive of the Heavenly Father where the deceased human beings go to? So if some preacher tells you they're going to raise someone from the dead, hold on a minute. You should use your common sense and realize, sorry, it's not going to happen. How is this even possible? How is this possible? Now, can it happen? By exception, Heavenly Father allows something like that to happen. Like it happened in the New Testament. Christ raised people from the dead. One time, a female believer fell down, and she rose up again after, I believe, the Apostle Paul prayed for her. But those are very rare exceptions. The norm is, once the human body expires, it's over. They have to wait till Christ comes back. Once the body expires, it's over. They have to wait till Jesus comes back. That's the guarantee we have. The body will expire, so people will pass away. Jesus comes back, they resurrect in immortal bodies. Anything else besides that is likely not going to happen when it comes to resurrecting the dead. I'm just an example I'm giving you. For example, Christ also promised us power to trample on scorpions and serpents and the whole camp of the enemy, and none shall by no means hurt us. Scorpions and serpents refer to demonic forces and structures of violence. So Christ guaranteed you that you, walking in his power, will shut down and break to pieces any structure of violence, any demonic force operating against you. Jesus did not guarantee you that those demonic forces and structures of violence will not come after you. He did not guarantee you that. He just guaranteed that if they come after you, you'll be the one trembling upon them. And nothing will by no means hurt you. But here's the thing. What if you have the resurrection power of Christ, because you are a believer, you have it, but you're not walking in that power? In this case, the scorpions and serpents, or you can say the structures of violence and the demonic forces, can and will hurt you. And then you think, but how is this possible? Didn't you say that if I give that, nothing shall hurt us? No. Nothing shall hurt you. There's a condition attached to it. The condition is you walk in his power. Because it's only with that power that you can overcome danger here on earth. So the guarantee is you will overcome danger, structures of violence, demonic forces in the here and now when you walk in his resurrection power. That means you need to know how to walk in that power, and you need to apply it. Only when you fulfill that condition, you will have the natural result of nothing by no means hurt you. And you can extend this to those around you to some extent. But if you're not in agreement with Christ and not acting in the will of the Heavenly Father, then don't expect to be immune from violence. Don't expect it. Don't expect the outworking of the blessing if you're not participating in the blessing. And this thing with a lot of believers. We were raised, not all of us, but many of us were raised in church, and we heard guarantees, but we never heard the context of those guarantees. The Heavenly Father gives you certain guarantees for the here and now. Let's forget about the resurrection after death. That's something when Christ comes back all the way at the end of human history. In the here and now. In the here and now. For this lifetime, the guarantees of the Heavenly Father are for you to be safe, sane, healthy, and wealthy. Those are the guarantees the Heavenly Father has for you in the here and now. You are sane, you are safe, you're healthy and wealthy. Now, is that the norm in the world? No. Will people fight against you when you're breaking through to be sane, healthy, wealthy, and safe? Yeah, of course, will retaliate against you. Christ told you to retaliate, but hey, you have the guarantee that when you walk in His power, you will overcome all of that. Now, those 4 guarantees: safety, sanity, health, and wealth. Does that include everyone getting along with you? No. Does that include people that did you wrong are suddenly better human beings now and okay with you? Does it mean now that you won't face any attacks anymore in your lifetime? Does it mean now that you'll never have to face yourself nor work on yourself to improve? No. What I'm saying is there are certain guarantees that we firmly believe that we're entitled to. When you look at the Bible, or when you examine those entitlements that we're claiming, there's no basis for them in reality. Now, it is true that as a human being, at the stand of Adam, others owe you to be trustworthy and safe. So human beings do owe one another something. The whole idea you don't owe anyone anything is bullshit. We owe each other. However, because most human beings are unreliable, even though you are entitled to others being safe and trustworthy, it's not probable that you'll encounter safe and trustworthy people all the time. Unless you live in a gated community somewhere where you only have safe and trustworthy people. But in general, you're just going through life in the world, it's not probable that you'll only encounter safe and trustworthy people. So even though naturally you are entitled as a human being to be around safe and trustworthy people, well, a big portion of our species is not safe, not trustworthy. So that's why you have the promises of the Heavenly Father in the here and now to overcome the difficulties that come from that. So if you go around expecting that others are going to be safe and trustworthy towards you just because you're safe and trustworthy, I'm sorry, but who taught you that? Even unbelievers understand that just because you are of quality, that doesn't guarantee that the other one is of quality. Okay, let's go further. Let's say you got married to someone, and the individual you're a believer and he's a believer, but he's undelivered, and you expect him, your husband who's a believer, to be delivered just like you are. Can you guarantee by your effort that your husband is going to be delivered one day? No, you can't. If you were a believer and your husband an unbeliever, nothing that you could ever do can turn him into a believer and make him saved. He himself has to submit unto the Heavenly Father, believe the gospel, and to be saved. And after being saved, he needs to go through the deliverance process, just like you went through the deliverance process. The other way around, say you're a husband and your wife is a believer undelivered. No matter how good of a husband you are, your good quality as a husband does not guarantee that your wife will be delivered one day. Okay? So let's say you have 2 believers who are married. And let's say the husband has emotional issues. But he doesn't want to face emotional issues. I don't care how hot, how sexy, or how caring, how feminine his wife is. Her great feminine quality will not guarantee that he will be masculine. If he does not work on himself internally, eventually that marriage will fall apart as it should. The other way around. If you are handsome, if you are firm, if you're successful, if you are wealthy, if you are a great leader as a man, your great masculine quality does not guarantee that your wife will improve. There are believers in marriages where they're waiting for the spouse to improve, but guess what? The Heavenly Father never guaranteed you that your spouse would improve. So you're staying there in that marriage with an expectation that likely will never be fulfilled. And that's why you're suffering and getting depressed in that marriage, because you signed up for that marriage with an outcome in view. And you thought, I just need to make effort to get that outcome. But guess what? The outcome you were longing for was never guaranteed by the Heavenly Father. So whoever guaranteed you that outcome was lying to you. You've been scammed. Simple as that. Now, I'm not telling you to be hard on yourself and beat yourself up. No, just admit you were in error. You were in error expecting a guarantee that God never gave to you. Look, if I buy a plane ticket to travel, let's say, the United States, me buying that plane ticket is an access, it's an entry to enter that aircraft. But that plane ticket does not guarantee me that I will arrive in the United States. Because let's say I'm about to board the airplane and suddenly the airline is bankrupt and the airplane can't leave. Or let's say the pilot gets sick out of the blue. Or let's say there's a terrorist strike out of the blue and nobody can leave the airport. Or let's say the United States closes borders out of the blue because of some crisis goes on over there. Or let's say someone buys a plane ticket, they're on the aircraft malfunctions and crashes. They die. They never arrive in the destination. What I'm saying is, you buy that plane ticket, the only thing that guarantees is your entitlement to board that aircraft and to arrive where you're going. But that entitlement is not a security and a guarantee that you'll arrive there. Simple as that. There is no airline out there that can guarantee you arriving at your destination, no matter how well trained their pilots and flight attendants are. There's always going to be unforeseen circumstances that may hinder you arriving there. What I'm saying is, we as believers have to hold on to the guarantees that Heavenly Father has given to us. And those guarantees are great: health, wealth, sanity, and safety. And with that comes an impact on our environment, being significant in the earth. So we have great guarantees guaranteed to us by the Heavenly Father. But those guarantees are only fulfilled when you walk by faith. And understand there are going to be a lot of people that will not be part of the outcomes God has guaranteed to you. If you have parents who don't want to look at themselves and improve, so they become narcissistic, those people have to go. They have to leave your life. Because if they're around, they're going to pollute you. I don't know how much you love your parents. If they are not in agreement with Christ and they keep polluting themselves, they have to be removed from you. Or let's say that you love your family, but your family does not love you, or you don't love God the way you love the Heavenly Father. Guess what? They're still your family. You can still pray for them, decree for them, and all that, help them out from time to time. But listen, your true family are those who do the will of the Heavenly Father, as Christ said. Do not hold on to a guarantee that God never gave to you. Some of you believers think that that once you walk by faith, nobody's ever going to do you dirty anymore. I mean, what the heck? Who told you that? Nonsense. Now listen, when you walk by faith, when your ways please the Heavenly Father, the people around you, including those who can't stand you, have issue against you, have no choice but to get along with your presence. That does not mean that they're all your friends now. Doesn't mean they all suddenly love you and they've changed their mind about you. So it means, out of necessity, they have no choice but to behave towards you and even operate in your favor. Simple as that. And if they know, if they realize what's best for them, they will comply, because there will be repercussions on them. That's what it means in the Bible. If a man's ways please the Lord, he will even make his enemies be at peace with him. It doesn't mean those people are not enemies anymore. So if you think that just because you serve the Heavenly Father, people eventually are going to turn around and love you and carry on all of that, it will be great if that happens, but it's not a guarantee from the Heavenly Father. Too many believers spend their lifetime chasing guarantees that God never gave to them. Is that a sane thing to do? No. Because you're wasting time, effort that you can never get back. You're just wasting yourself. Look, God gave us guarantees in the here and now. Just know that the world will retaliate against those guarantees. So you're guaranteed, based on the report from the Heavenly Father, that there will be retaliation against you. But you're also guaranteed you will overcome. But not everyone around you will overcome with you. Understand that too. Look, on my channel, I never promoted guarantees God never gave to us. I've been firm from the start. Walking by faith is not always easy. It's great, it's worthwhile, it's what we all should do, but it's not always easy. And you are going to have to process certain things. You will have to come to terms with certain bad situations that you want to come to terms with. And those bad situations are not your fault. It's simply that the world will do you dirty when you serve the Heavenly Father. Simple as that. If they crucified Christ, what makes you think they're going to spare you? They're not going to spare you. If they call Jesus Beelzebub, they scold him out for being a Beelzebub, what do you think they're going to call you? Understand, God gave us guarantees. Let's focus on those guarantees. Let's model all our human expectations after those guarantees. Let's operate in those guarantees. Anything God did not guarantee to you, do not hold on to it. You may consider it as an option, but you're not going to cling on to it and you're not going to invest in it. A guarantee that God didn't give to you doesn't have to be wrong. It doesn't have to be, but it's just an option you need to consider. So do not go through life being foolish. You need to understand what the perfect and stable will of the Heavenly Father is. If you don't yet, keep fasting and praying for you to find out what God's perfect will for your life is. The Heavenly Father may not give you specific details. For example, where to work, who to marry, who to hang out with. God may not give you specific details, but it doesn't have to. What you have to do is you need to trust Him and trust His guidance. Trust Him, trust His guidance, and follow His guidance. Simple as that. Keep agreeing with Christ, be at peace, and I'll see you in my next live stream. Shalom.